Hey guys, Kelade here, back with another Mythic commentary video, this time on Mythic Gul'dan. We did manage to kill him last night, so let's get into it because this is going to be a 13-minute fight, and we're going to do all of this in one go. So, on the Mythic version of this fight, it's going to be slightly different than the normal heroic versions. There's going to be things missing, and there's going to be things added on. Actually, right away, Gul'dan doesn't even stay in the middle. He comes out of the circle. So, when you first pull him, he's going to do a knockback, but if you time your charge correctly, you can actually get right on top of him. So I charge him and I pop my cooldowns right away. Now this is because the first set of ads, they don't spawn until after 30 seconds in the fight. So as long as I get good convergence procs, I can get it. And also I'm going to use time dilation right afterwards. Right when I know I'm not going to have the bonds on me and I know that I won't take bonds damage, I pop my time dilation because on Mythic you only get one use and it's for 30 seconds. And if you use it right when I use it, you'll get the full duration because the first Hellfire, liquid Hellfire doesn't happen or it doesn't hit the ground until 30 seconds. 37 seconds into the fight. So when the eyes spawn, I pop my battle cry, I pop Odin's Fury, and I just start whirlwinding them down. And then once they get lower, I start single targeting each one. Now we do try to push this Traveler before he does another Vortex, because once he does the second Vortex, it does get more difficult because that Vortex will line up with Soul Bonds. Obviously, it makes the bonds much harder to deal with when you're getting pushed back in a direction. Luckily, I was called here first to break my bond, and generally our guild waits until 4 people are within the range, and then we break it. Or if we have a healer break it, they can put their bubble, and that breaks 3 bonds, essentially. So in this first part of the fight, we're essentially just going to always have Battle Cry and Odin's Fury out for all the eyes. It's really up to the Fury Warriors to just demolish the eyes here. And as he spawns in here, I'll always pop Whirlwind first, pop my cooldowns, hit Rampage, meat Cleaver that Rampage, hit Odin's Fury. If I have Draft, I'll hit Draft right there. Because if you are wearing Draft and you're not using the Whirlwind belt, hitting Draft during a battle cry there will actually do more damage to eyes than just spamming Whirlwinds. Now, let's get into that for a second. So the legendaries that I'm using for this fight is going to be the Helmet and the Cloak. Now, I do have access to all the Fury legendaries. The reason why I don't use the belt is because we don't necessarily need that, additional ad damage. And using, the Helmet and the Cloak will give me more single target burst and DPS in other places. Now, of course, if your raid, needs that additional eye damage, needs the eyes to be cleaved down faster with whirlwinds, yes, you could do with the whirlwind belt, but it's not needed here. So, of course, every time the eye spawns again, we're going to hit Battle Cry, Rampage, Odin's Fury, and just cleave them down with whirlwinds. Now, so you can get unfortunate there. Sometimes if you can get knocked out during while you're using your battle cry and AoEing, that is unfortunate, especially if you're worried that's trying to kill the eyes. But I don't think that happens on this pull. That eye was a little too far away, so I let the range take care of it, so I don't stand on the green circle. I also commanding shout here because the range is dropped pretty low, and that is where I'm supposed to use it on the fight. At this point, the tank moves him over here just so we have more room to play with because there's not going to be Hellfires for a while. You can see if there's 40 seconds left on it. Now, right here, depending on how you do the fight, you might not get a second ad here, right? If you guys lusted on pull, you guys actually don't get a second trapper that spawns here. But since we haven't lusted yet, we're going to get that ad to spawn. And generally, we're going to look at how much HP Gul'dan has and whether or not, he's above a certain percent, and we'll decide what to do next. So he's at around 56% HP right now as this ad spawns, or sorry, not trapper, Fel Lord. As this Fel Lord spawns, so we decide to kill the Fel Lord and let Gul'dan summon the eyes, and then we'll kill the eyes, and then we'll push Gul'dan. Now, sometimes if our DPS got crazy procs, or if we did really well, we'll actually try to push Gul'dan before the eyes, but we're not going to do it here since Gul'dan does have a pretty good amount of HP left. Now, I was able to get some nice convergence procs and just battle cry only on the Fel Lord over there, because I know that with good convergence procs, I'll be able to have battle cry up for the eye that you guys see. My battle cry is up in 2 seconds. So, pop Battle Cry, get that Rampage in, Odin's Fury them, AoE them, and then just execute both the Eyes and the Fel Lord, and then we push Gul'dan really quickly. Now, you do want to push Gul'dan here, either before this Hellfire or after that Hellfire. We did manage to kill him just before he finished casting that, because if he casts that in the air and it actually goes through, you'll still have to deal with the Hellfires as you're transitioning to Phase 2. So in Phase 2, we'll go over there to X, because he's going to do a blowback from the north to the south side of the room. That way we don't get knocked off the platform. And as far as for how we position the melee, we're essentially always going to be on this side, where essentially that orange marker, you guys kind of don't see it right now, but it's in the back right. That's our melee is always going to be on this side of the room that we're currently on. Now, We're going to save all our cooldowns for when this eye spawns. Unfortunately, I do end up drafting here, and he does put a fire on me as I'm drafting, so I do drop one first fire patch really close to melee. There also shouldn't have been a range over there, but that was unfortunate. But we make do with it. As I come back, I just tell the tank just to edge over a little bit so the melee can safely get here without, proccing the fell sites. This phase pretty much is just this over and over. You just make sure that you don't drop the fires on the ground like I did for melee, and you're good to go. He's gonna cast a Storm Destroyer. Luckily, even though there's a lot of fires here, when he does the storm does clear all of the fire patches, so that is good. I just leap over here. I do go over, I guess, a couple GCDs earlier. I probably could have stayed for another GCD, but it wasn't worth it at that moment. I kind of just chill right here because the Valis is going to TP right onto the tank, so there's no need for me to try to charge over there, get any hits, because he's going to come right over here. Now this eye is a little bit too far away from me. Something that you can do, especially as a warrior or any melee that has taunt, you can taunt the eye. If you're not in melee range of the eye, it will actually scoot over closer to you. So I do taunt it, hit the boss for GCD. Once the eye moved over, I can hit the eye again. The eyes do have a large hitbox, so you do want to take advantage of that. But even if the large hitbox doesn't work, you can just taunt it over. Just make sure you're taunting the eye and you're not taunting Gul'dan. Because if you taunt the Gul'dan, you pretty much wipe. Because he's going to turn to you and fell scythe you and another melee. So after that eye dies, I'm essentially going to save all my cooldowns for after the storm because he's going to summon another eye right away. This is the eye where we're going to go to the other side for Fell Storm, but the eye will stay on this side. Unfortunately, our range blocked up our path, so I had to use the lock gate to come over. Because sometimes I like having the lock gate so I can, go back and get to the eye faster, but I can always just heroically back and charge onto the eye. So this eye, we actually have both of our warriors save our drafts, so we can both draft this eye, and everybody else can save their DPS cooldowns because there's going to be a fourth eye very shortly after this eye. You can see it'll actually spawn in 6 seconds. So that's this way we can kind of spread out our cooldown so we're not always using cooldowns on the same eye and not have this eye be killed. Right, so this eye spawns, even though I don't cooldowns, I put some DPS in it, but because of the way that we kind of coordinated raid, other DPS will have cooldowns for this eye. Now, if the eye ever duplicates, it's pretty much a wipe, unless you kill like the other eye as the eye is duplicating, right? If two eyes are up for like, let's just say at least 5 seconds, it's pretty much a wipe. Like the AoE damage from that would just be insane. And then after that eye, we get pushed back here. We're going to all stack up on this skull marker, and we're just going to heal up, use our cooldowns, right? We got Link and Darkness. We got Commanding Shout rolling too. So at this point, since we didn't lust that pull, we're going to lust here in order to push the boss. There's for 2 reasons. One is we don't want that 5th eye to spawn. You can see here in the timers, I'm not sure how well I can see it, but there's like 33 seconds left on that eye spawn. We want to not hit that eye because that will do a lot of damage to us, and it does require us to do additional DPS that we shouldn't be doing. So we do want to push past that. Also, once Gul'dan reaches like 10% HP, he's going to start doing his like RP to start summoning the demon within. So you do need to push Gul'dan and kill him before the demon within is finished summoning. Right. So as you can see, he's kind of charging up over there on a timer essentially. So we're just going to kill Gul'dan here. You do want to watch out because Gul'dan is going to keep doing fires while this is happening. You don't want to just tunnel the boss and drop a fire melee. So some people save their cooldowns right here when he gets activated, but I'm actually just going to pop all of my cooldowns. That way I don't get knocked back by the knockback he does initially. So he does a knockback right here. Everybody gets knocked back, but since I'm drafting, I don't move. So I can stay on the boss and just keep DPSing him. The reason being is that generally, so this parasitic wound, what it's going to do is that it's going to pick 2 targets and they're going to have a wound follow them. It kind of works like the plants and botanists. If they chase you and they touch you, they'll summon more of them. But we have our Demon Hunter switch off on who stuns which pack. So, that first pack, we have 1 Demon Hunter stun. Second pack, we'll have another, and they'll just rotate back and forth. Essentially, everybody has so much cooldowns for the first eyes. If I just own Sphere them, that's pretty much enough. This will allow me to also have Battle Cry just for this soul fragment ad, so we can burst it as fast as possible. You guys know, you guys probably seen from other videos, this ad does a cast a buff on himself that your mage can spell steal or your warlock can even take over. And that essentially is what you're going to use to kill that night orb you see on the side over there. So another parasitic spawns. Essentially, the parasitic ads are going to be killed by melee because you need to be in that small little shadowy circle to be able to actually DPS them. The night orbs are essentially going to be killed by our mage, and then some range DPS if he needs help, because there's actually a silent circle around the night orb where melee can't actually go and hit it. And then of course this ad is DPS down by everybody because everybody can damage him. But predominantly melee is the one that's going to be killing him mostly. You can see we just have all the parasites on the left leg and our melee on the right leg, and this kind of just continues throughout the entire fight. Sometimes this does get messy. Sometimes, if the parasites touch somebody accidentally, they're gonna spawn another one. So right here, Gul'dan's gonna jump up into the air. He's gonna cast a cast that's gonna one-shot the raid. But if you soak the orbs, they'll interrupt his cast. But if you soak the orbs, not only did it interrupt his cast, they're gonna do a raid-wide AoE that just kills you. But if you stand in that night orb that we killed that has that like little slow zone bubble that like kind of pauses time, it'll actually make us immune to all damage. So it's kind of weird. There's like two things that can like one shot you, but one thing cancels out the other, and then there's a third mechanic that cancels out everything, right? So it's there are a few different one shot mechanics that are all going out at the same time. And it does require a lot of timing because you need the night orbs to die at the right time, and you need to charge up and heal up those other fragments on the ground at the right time too. Now, another thing I haven't gone over because it's not really my job on this fight, because we have the rogues do it, is you guys see the bear right there behind him? His soul severed and he's kind of like grasping for his breath. We do have our rogues go stand on those severs because if those severs aren't soaked, which is just by somebody walking over them, the person that got severed can actually be healed. So we have a rogue take over it, and they both get like a secondary buff, which is just absorb some healing. So we do end up killing that third ad right there. And now we're gonna have three things on the ground. Essentially, once you heal those things up, when I guess the demon within comes back down, each one that you heal up will give him 50% increase damage taken. So if we heal up all three, when he comes back down, he's gonna take 150% extra damage. Right? We heal all those three up. We use some defenses. We got Link going, some other defenses, and then we get into this orb to make sure that we're immune to damage. But I think this orb could have came out a little bit faster, because the boss is already down there, and we actually all get hit by that seed, or a lot of it get hit by a seed. Then in order to keep myself from dying, I do pop in regen there just to keep myself up. Now, all of those ads that are spawned, those fragment or ads or whatever, they're no longer going to be DPS'd or even be part of an encounter after this phase. We're going to CC all of those ads. The first one that you guys saw there, I think it was Repentance by the Prop Paladin, but we do have to still deal with these parasitic ads that come out in the fight. I think at one point actually one of our rogues DC'd, which is you'll see our tanks start dying because they're gonna get their soul severed, and we just didn't know that he DC'd. So the sever just never got soaked. You see our bear severed there, and I think he does end up dying here because nobody ever, I think, rescues him from the sever soul. And then he just ends up dying. I think actually the rogue got there, but it was a little bit too late. But yeah, I mean, this will happen to our prop paladin too. He's gonna get severed and not get soaked because we just didn't know he DC'd. But at this point, we're pretty much good to go. There's very little things that can really kill us. I think even if the tanks died and he started like one-shotting everybody, we would have still gotten the fight because he was so low HP. He does spawn these parasitic kind of bugs. I was thinking about whether to just keep Juggernaut stacking or if I should AoE them. The correct play, I think, was to keep executing them, and then because I did have Odin's Fury up there too right away, I could have just Odin's Fury them, and that could have been my contribution for the AoE because I did have a lot of Juggernaut stacks by this point already. But nonetheless, we keep getting in the boss. Juggernaut stacks, we're still going strong, and we end up just finishing him off. It does get a little bit messy at the end there because this was our first kill, so it was our first time getting to like sub 5%, where we had a lot of people with the parasitic stuff running around. You guys saw there at the end, people were just dragging them to the left and right and center. And our tanks were just dying because people weren't getting their severed souls. And we just didn't know that we needed a backup even because the people that were assigned to it, they weren't dead, right? Because they were just DC. But regardless, we do get the kill. A 9-10 drop the souls drops, and I was able to snag that up, so that was nice. But yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna be it for as far as our Nighthole commentary videos, because that was the last boss in the raid. So let me know what you guys think about these type of commentaries videos. If you guys want to see them in other different areas of the game, whether it's any RPG content, any more Mythic Plus content, let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about these commentaries. And as always, thanks for checking out the video, guys. Make sure to subscribe to see more warrior content. And as always, I'm always hanging out on Discord. You guys can check out that link too in the description. Thanks for watching. See ya.